Me, Grimlock, approve of this new Dinobot.
Me, Slag, don't care.
Hi everyone, this is Triple T, and today I'm taking a look at Perfect Fusion's FT-01 Cesium. And this is a re-release of the toy, and we all know this is fans' toys, and this is an oversized scoria with some extra features that were released in the Perfect Fusion a couple of years ago. So this is just a reissue of that, and we will be getting into the differences and the quality issues and stuff like that with my beloved Cesium here in just a little while. Let's just look at the box first, shall we? We have some very, very washed out pictures here. I don't know why they did that. They usually have really nice pictures, but here you can obviously see that it is washed out. And if you compare the colors on him to what you see here, you can really see how washed out that is. I don't know why they did that. And it's a very classical fans toys box. And there you can see scoria, or cesium, or slag, whatever you want to call this one. And you have some nice bio, hostile, aggressive, belligerent. Cesium just wants to fight. And you can just continue reading that on your own time, because no one wants to hear me read. And you have pictures of the bot, the alt mode, and of course this is not a combining Dinobot, so no combining pieces or other pictures. Here you have some extra pieces. This is quite fun, because this doesn't really match up to what you get, but it's just the face color here. It should be red instead of silver, because the silver face is on here. So you can mix and match however you want. I'm going to show you that in a little while. But this is the rather big package, and the styrofoam in here is just like fans toys, and it actually says PF-01 on it. So there is no questioning about what company lies behind this. But I understand why they put it in the Perfect Fusion line, and I will get back to that later, because fusion is the right word for it. He comes with an obligatory collector's card. Very nice. A bit of that washed up pictures again. I do miss some colors here. I would like that to be a bit more, you know, flashy. Flash. You have that bio, and you have that tech spec, which I can't read these above, but I guess that's strength and intelligence, because he's stupid, and so on. And I do like myself a stupid bot. I really, really do. Now, I know X-Transport have stopped supplying manuals with theirs, just little video clips that doesn't really work. But I think that is the future. Unfortunately, I do like these, though. But this one is somewhat of a spectacular little thing, because it's only 2 pieces of paper, so it is only 8 pages and only 7 steps to transform, and I thought this was going to be really, really difficult to follow. It's not. It's great! I do like this one. I really, really, really do. And again, you have that silver face there. You shouldn't. You should have a red face, and I will show you this face in just a second or two. Yeah. Now he comes with his big old sword, and you can press here and it will light up if you have the batteries. I don't have the batteries. I think they were LR66, if I'm not mistaken. You can buy those on Amazon or wherever you buy your batteries. It looks sublime, and these little red chromed area looks so good. It is a fingerprint magnet. That's where my tongue stops working. It is a fingerprint magnet, so be wary of not leaving too much of your oils on here, because it will degrade this beautiful paintwork. He comes with a gun, and it looks good too. On this side you have the 3 screws, so try facing it that way. You have 3 screws here, but they are painted silver. Why didn't they do that on this side too? Anyway, you can use the light up feature, of course. Yeah, I don't have the batteries. It is the same type of batteries, so that's very, very nice. You can just buy a pack of them if you tend to use this often. Now we come to the first replacement piece, and this is what I told you before. This is a red face, not a silver face. The silver face is on him already, and to change these out, you loosen this screw, and I have pre-screwed it for you, so you can just see how this works. You push this out, and the eyes are on a separate little hingy poo here, and you can combine the red face and the red goggles with the silver face and the blue goggles, however you want, and you can, of course, change out the red head for the black here. And you have to do that on the bot because it's fastened down there, so you have to rotate that around and unscrew it. So you can't really screw anything together out here, so to speak. But that is the head, and I think I'm going to do little different with this one. I'm going to have the black with the blue and the silver on there. So, yeah. These are replacement thighs if you want the more toy look. And this is where I go from my norm. As most of you know, I am a cartoon accurate guy. I like the cartoon accuracy in every place I can find it. Except for some bots. And they are the Dinobots and Onslaught, for some reason. I don't know why. I will be putting these on instead of those. So, and I held them in front before, and I actually saw the great difference. It is a big difference. Just this little piece. So I will be putting this on later on. On the little dino head up here, we have a blue eyes, and you can, of course, change those out for red ones. And I will be doing that too, because I wanted to have red eyes in dinosaur mode. Very nice, and these are very nicely chromed as well, of course. But I will be very careful handling them, because I don't want to scratch them up. Lastly, he comes with alternate horns. The ones installed are silver, but you also get the red ones. And I do like these. A bit too devilish for my taste, but I think on him they will actually look really good. I'm not a fan of silver like this for the horns, so grey I would have liked, or these, or black maybe, or something. Silver is really not for me, so I will go the Kang Toys way and install these later on. And they are die-cast, and they are, as you can see, spray painted. So be careful with these. That's my recommendation. But now we come to the bot. And I'm going to try to explain why I think this is a perfect fusion bot, and the name is perfect for him. Because he contains 3 different companies' how should I put it, distinctive qualities, or lack of. I don't really know how to do that. But first, we're going to look at the details. And as you can see, he has a shiny chest here, and a very nicely sculpted head. I'm going to change out. Yes, I am. Some nice gunmetal grey here, and grey here as well. Some blue pieces here. And I heard other reviewers say that this is painted. It is not. The grey on the wings, the arms, and the legs are just, unfortunately, swirly plastic. I would have really liked it to be painted, but it really isn't. And you have a bit of sprue marks here and there, and so on. This doesn't want to tab in for some reason. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but that is a minor nitpick, and you never bother with that anyway, so that is okay. We come down to the waist, very nicely looking waist. Unfortunately, this is just a very thin piece of plastic, and the legs just go rattling because nothing really stays where it should, because the legs are so heavy. Beautiful, but heavy. You have that little green foot on top of here. You have that transparent plastic with all the nice detailing in here. And you have these big, chromed out, beautiful feetsies. If we take a look in here, there is no cover for this kibble, but they actually made this tab in. Unfortunately, it tabs in on a chrome piece, so that will probably wear with time. I don't really care because it's on the tail and I don't really look at the tail, so I'm happy it tabs in, and I don't really need a cover piece when it fits this well. And we're going to look at this little leg later on, but it's nicely detailed as well. We come to the back, we see of course the tail again. And once you get it in there, it actually sticks fairly well. I don't have it dropping out, as I know other people have, so I'm quite happy with it. You have those silver thighs that I'm going to change out, and, well, you have 3 screws for the butt. This piece is the worst plastic I've ever seen on a masterpiece. I'm not kidding. This is just really, really thin, and it's going to break some time, I think, unfortunately. This is my only really complaint about the figure. I can stand the swirly plastic on the legs and arms and wings and stuff like that, but this is going to break. We know that because it's so flimsy, and that just tells me that, well, they didn't want to release this in the Fans Toys line because this isn't up to par at all. But enough about that. The wings look great, and they are a bit movable like that. You have some detailing here and there and some chrome up here. Looks really nice. And of course you have the back of the head. You can fold these in different ways. I've just fold them like that because I like them out of the way. So there you have that. Now for articulation, I'm going to start with the wings because that's easiest for me. You can fold them up and down and backwards and forth a bit. I like to have them up like that because this just looks strange to me. These are for transformational purposes, so they are going to stay in here. And again, this piece is just very shoddily done, and it's going to tab in, which is even worse. So yeah, we come to the head. The head can rotate like that. For transformational purposes, you can rotate everything around if you don't want to see the face, like that. And this is moving plastic via plastic, or is this die-cast even? Yes, it's die-cast even, so it's going to tear things up if you do that too often. But you can turn the face to the sides, you can go up a bit, down nothing. You can, of course, loosen this, and then you can just move the whole head section up and down if you think that is okay. I just want that to stay where it should, even though it never tabs in for some reason. If you know what I'm doing wrong with this little tab, please tell me in the comments because I really want to do it correctly. The arms are on ratchet. The negative thing is that it's so stiff that it actually makes the ab crunch go. The ab crunch is severely loose, but we'll get back to that. That's why I'm holding him like this. You can get your arms out to there before they collide. With that. Moving plastic past plastic again. I don't like that. You have a bicep swivel. You have a 90 degree at the elbow there. And you have, I would say, Fans Toys standard hands, but these actually feel more like KFC hands. And no, I don't mean the chicken, I mean the Keith Fantasy Club's hands. But that just might be that this is a very old mold, and, well, I don't know. You have a waist rotation, not all the way around, unfortunately, but you don't really need more than that. And you have that very, very loose ab crunch here. It works, and as long as you tilt him a bit back, the die-cast pieces up here will actually hold him backwards, so that is fairly fine. I've actually never really rotated these legs because look at that little thin piece of plastic holding these massive, heavy legs on. And if you look at that, you actually can see a stress mark already in there. So I'm doing this for you guys. That's as far as you get it forward. That is as far as you get it backwards. And he can almost do the full splits, but not really. You have a thigh rotation. You have a little rotation here for transformation. Squeaky one. And you have a 90 degree at the knee. And you have a little toe tilt. down here. Nothing more than a tilt. Tilting, nothing more than tilting. No, you can tilt it a bit forward as well, but as the heel is also chromed, be very careful so you don't mess that chrome up. You can also angle these if you will, but that is more for beast mode or dino mode, of course. Now, I'm going to try to explain what I mean by him being perfect fusion, and that is a perfect name, because he is of... It feels like he's made by 3 companies, hence the fusion. One, you have that very old Fans Toys engineering from FT-03, I think, Scoria. 2, you have the X-Transbots, thin plastic, and some strange solutions. And 3, you have the Hasbro swirly plastic finish. Yes, these are nice, but still. So he is a fusion of those 3 principles, and that may be good or bad, depending on what you like. I was expecting a fully formed Fans Toys figure, and he is not. So please don't expect that, because you're going to be as sad as me. But if you come by him with the realization that he is an older figure, not up to Fans Toys standard today, not counting the Constructicons, that is, he is a good buy. But since his price is about the same as modern day Fans Toys, I would have expected a bit more. I will get back to that in my conclusion. Now let's look at his little accessories, shall we? He has those nice hands, as I said before, and you can tab that gun in. Leave the pointing finger out so you can actually have him going like that. Very nice. And you can just fold everything around here, and you can hinge the thumb over. Don't do that too much though, because if you do and you take the gun out, you can potentially, I haven't done it, but plop the thumb off, and you don't want to do that. But now he can go shooting Decepticons to his heart's content, and he can actually hold this in his other hand if you think that looks good. Very, very nice. Now, remove that because we need to put the sword in. And remember, this piece is chromed, so using this too many times will take the chrome away. But still, you want to have that in his hand, so maybe you don't really care about that tab. And I do like this pose that you can get him in. It's a bit of a, I don't know, Motu pose. He-Man, do. No, I don't know. Very, very nicely done, this sword. And it is quite the sizable sword as well. It's taller than half of him, so it's really nice. It's really, really, really nice. As you can see, it's quite tall. Say. Now for comparison, let's bring in my Grimlock, and this is Gigapower's Grimlock. And as you can see, he just towers over Slag. I don't really care because I think that Grimlock should be the biggest one. But the size difference is a bit bothersome. I know he is bigger than Scoria was, but he's still as big as the Perfect Fusion's first run, so a bit bigger would have been nice. The quality on these two are actually on par with each other, and that's kind of nice because they actually fit together. And he has the black thighs there, so I'm going to put these here, and they will fit in together even better, I think. Looking very toy accurate and nice. There is no... Let's bring you guys down a bit. There is no really... Nothing hiding this. You can see the tail and it folds out quite often and so on. And neither do you have a cover here. But I actually think these feet or legs are okay. I mean, it is a transformer. You do want to see that it does transform. So, maybe not too much, of course, but I think in this case, this actually works. And to me, there are a lot of issues with the Gigapowers ones, but he will always be my Grimlock because look at that regal stance. He is so good. Even if Perfect Fusion or Fans Toys comes out with their grinder, he will still be my Grimlock because I just love everything here looks-wise. Not quality-wise, looks-wise. So I am very, very happy with this set. And I do have the Swoop from Gigapowers and I also have Sludge. So there is only one left I need. But if Perfect Fusion comes out with everyone, I will probably buy them and have one in robot mode and one in Dino mode. So, because they do look good, every one of them. But that is it for robot mode, peoples. And in a couple of seconds, I will be back and we will have transformed him into his beautiful Dino mode. And if you want to see that transformation, please go look at the transformational video that I posted side by side with this video. And here you have Scoria, or Cesium, or Slag, whatever you want to call him, in his alt mode, and it looks so good. Getting there with a thin piece of plastic and things not tabbing in together, it's a chore, but when you get here, you are so happy, at least I am. I mean, look at this baby boy. It makes me want to become a father all over again. No, just kidding. Definitely not. He has a lot of detailing. Let's just get up close and personal with his little face here first. You can change these out. Let's see if I can do it now. Yes, I could. I have no idea how to put that back. Let's see if I am able to. That's actually kind of neat because the eyes had two pegs down here. And up here, they were actually screw hole covers. That's a hard word to say. Screw hole covers. And now I have my red eyes on my Dino, which I do like. If you want to change these out, you have to rotate the head and put a screwdriver in there and unscrew these. It's fairly simple, and I will do that later on. You can move his mouth about if you want to, and you can see his little back of his head there. You can rotate the head, you can go up. Oh, for once it actually stayed there. It doesn't usually do that. Yeah, you can move that about. Very nice. The front legs are the same as the arms, so you have that nice articulation both in the shoulders and in the knees here. You have that little toe tilt that we all know and love. Yes, I'm sarcastic. I don't really care, but it's nice it's there. These legs aren't my favorite. They are on a ball peg, and as you can see, they are quite a ways from the body, so they look kind of strange. If you can see that. They work, and they do what they're supposed to, but still, I would have liked them to be a bit closer to the body, but maybe that transformation makes that impossible. But you can go all the way around with them, and you of course have that knee joint here ratcheted nicely, and you have that toe joint as well, and you have that little foot joint here as well, which is very nice. The tail is fairly much in there, but you can wiggle this about a bit, and this is just so little, it is totally unnecessary. It would have been much better if they just didn't do this, I think. And these are the small tabs that actually tab in bot mode, so these will lose their paint through time. And maybe that is another thing that they don't want to call this Fans Toys and call them just Perfect Fusion, because some solutions are a bit iffy. But he is a beautiful, beautiful bot with legs to the side. Or legs for days, maybe you can say. You have a lot of detailing here, and I do love all this. Unfortunately, in this mode, you have a lot of that grey, swirly plastic, and that's a shame because I wanted that to be painted. Of course, I can paint it, but I'm not that good at painting, so if I do that, it will just look worse, way worse. Now for comparison, I am too scared to transform my Grimlock and my other Gigapowers bots. So, just to be a bit reminiscent of the Call of the Primitives episode, here is Siege Skylynx. And as you can see, he towers over poor Skylynx, which isn't cartoon accurate at all, but I do like this Skylynx, even if it's mainline and not a masterpiece. I still do like this very much. But this is just to give you a bit of a scale here. Of course, if I transform Skylynx, he will be much bigger than Scoria Cesium Slag. So, yeah. But there you have it. Now for my conclusion. I do love this bot, I do. But the swirly plastic, the brittle plastic in the middle here, it doesn't feel nice. And for some reason, when you change out the thighs, everything just holds the pose better, and it actually is a bit stiffer. So I'm really happy I did. As you can see, I changed out the head and the visor and these. This one doesn't really want to play ball for some reason, but that might just be my hands being too tired to screw anything else. I like the effects, I like the detailing, I like the accessories, very nice sword and gun and so on, and I like that you have the options to change him out. And this will be my mishmash of cartoon and toy accurate bot. What I don't like is the difference in quality depending on where on the bot you are. I think that it feels like a mainstream X-Trans bots, not one of their better or not one of their worse, but mainstream X-Trans bots in quality, but definitely not a solid performance from Perfect Fusion here. You have a lot of detailing that is nice, but you also have a lot of thin plastic with swirly grey. I don't like that at all, and it's going to drag the score down. Also, when you lift him up, the legs come together because they are too heavy. Now that I have actually put these on, you don't notice that as much, which is very, very nice. So I'm happy about that, but still there are a lot of things that they could have made better, and I would be very happy to pay a bit more with a Fans Toys brand logo and their standard quality plastics and joints. If you detach these, be aware that you might be a bit disillusioned about the bot because you actually learn how things stay together and work. Those hollow thighs they are sad. And that's not this bot, it's every bot. And maybe you don't want to know that. So if you don't, then don't disassemble him at all. I do like him very much, but the lack in cohesive quality is going to drag the score down. So his masterpiece score is going to be 6, even though I like him very much. But I can't set a higher grade because then I would be fooling you into it being a better quality than it actually is. So I can't do that. Toy-wise, I'm really happy. It probably would get a full score, but overall, the quality just drags it down to 6, I'm afraid. I do recommend him if you are prepared to face old Fans Toys engineering, mainstream X-Trans bots quality, a bit on the lower side of their quality actually, because they're quite good nowadays, and Hasbro finish, because this just feels unpainted, unrefined, and just like a kid's toy, you know. And there's nothing wrong with Hasbro X-Trans bots or Fans Toys for that matter, but I'm just trying to give you a picture of what I actually feel when I am handling this bot. The feet are way too heavy as well, but yeah. He stands firmly on the ground, so maybe that's just good. I don't know. I do recommend him, but be aware of the negatives, because if you are, then you will be really happy with this one. But I guess that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care.